Trampolines, a backyard essential for the sensory-seeking child. When designing your backyard to work for your sensory-seeking child, there's perhaps no better investment you can make than in a trampoline. In this video, we'll look at how a trampoline is an effective delivery device for sensory input, how a parent or professional could use it to create engaging experiences with a child on the spectrum, and how we solved some of the design challenges related to installing a large trampoline in our own backyard project. Stick around to the end of this video to see how we use a simple parachute to squeeze even more value out of this invaluable backyard essential. So let's jump in. Hi there. Welcome to Embrace by Design, the channel where we explore the intersection of design and neurodiversity. If you're new to this channel and like what you see, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you're notified when we release new content. If you're designing a backyard play area for a sensory-seeking child, you can hardly go wrong with outfitting your project with a trampoline. We installed one several years ago when designing our own backyard for our two children, both of whom are on the spectrum, and it's proven to be a godsend. Not only does it give our kiddos seemingly endless enjoyment, it's super effective in satiating their sensory needs when they're dysregulated, which makes complete sense. Since jumping around and flying through the air is a great way to deliver proprioceptive input to the joints and muscles so they can better feel their bodies in space, while simultaneously exercising their vestibular sense of keeping balance. The efficacy of trampolines in delivering sensory input is no doubt why they're so ubiquitous in sensory gyms and so often used by OTs. In addition to delivering sensory input, trampolines are endlessly useful in fostering interaction. Beyond providing opportunities for self-directed and solitary amusement, trampolines are great at organically creating moments of engagement between peers, parents, or professionals and an autistic child. Anyone familiar with a backyard trampoline is no doubt also familiar with the laughter and excitement that accompanies them. The challenge of avoiding other people while jumping and the prospect of actually bumping into them is a major reason trampolines are so enjoyable, and is also an activity that naturally gives rise to countless games and hours of play. But what if you're a parent or professional interested in fostering specific types of therapeutic play, like joint attention and turn-taking activities? Well, the backyard trampoline has you covered. For example, take the way that we use our trampoline with our sensory-seeking daughter, who engages most easily with others through physical play. When she's jumping alone on the trampoline, I'll start engaging with her by tossing a ball or two up and over the safety net. The balls capture her attention as they pop around the jumping mat, and she can't resist engaging with them. Before long, she starts tossing them out of the trampoline area, which enables me to initiate a back and forth game simply by picking them up and tossing them back in. Once the game of catch is going, I'll elaborate on it by layering in music, sound effects, or even another sensory element, such as water from a garden hose. As we're taking turns throwing the balls back and forth, we'll also take turns selecting which song will play next from my iPhone in speaker mode positioned nearby. The real fun kicks in when I use a sprayer on a garden hose to shoot streams of water in the air, and she anticipates when and where they'll land. Of course, an excited scream inevitably follows a direct hit of falling water. When we need to elaborate on the game even more, I'll take the sprayer and shoot a stream of water on the underbelly of the jumping mat, which creates a movable mist from below that she's inclined to jump over. My daughter even elaborates on the game herself and pretends to slip and fall on the trampoline, which gives me a great opportunity to follow her lead and keep the engagement going. If you're a parent or professional working with a sensory-seeking individual and have interactive play-based activities for the trampoline you'd like to share, be sure to add them to the comments below. The more suggestions you contribute, the more valuable this resource will become for our community. Turning attention to the design challenges we overcame when planning our backyard project, Perhaps the biggest one was how to incorporate this rather large and, let's face it, unsightly object into our backyard in such a way that read purposeful rather than as an unplanned appendage merely dropped in wherever we had the space. Knowing that the trampoline was a sensory play structure we'd be committing to for a long time, as opposed to just a season or two, we decided the best approach was to give the trampoline its own defined space. For the sake of visual balance, privacy, and framing the vista of the trampoline when we look out upon it, the southeast corner of the yard in front of a backdrop of trees and large flowering bushes was the ideal placement. We sliced off a back corner of the yard with a curving serpentine line, demarcating the grass from the border, and positioned the dedicated gravel-filled space with a 12-sided run of landscaping timbers. We filled in the negative space with evergreen bushes and flowering perennials for year-round appeal. Another benefit of dedicating a space to the trampoline is that we didn't need to move it back and forth when the lawn was being mowed in the summer. In the winter months, when the trampoline can't be used due to the cold climate we live in, we store it and set up a fire pit and chairs to ensure the space is useful all year round. If you live in a warmer climate where it makes sense to have a trampoline permanently erected, you may want to consider a dug-in trampoline that doesn't take up as much vertical space and can more easily blend into the yard with some thoughtful landscaping. Of course, you'll want to scale the size of your trampoline to fit your individual needs, but we would recommend going as big as your project can feasibly accommodate without looking or feeling awkward. Backyard trampolines come in a number of different sizes, so you shouldn't have any problem finding the size that's appropriate for your particular circumstances. Likewise, the price of backyard trampolines range from budget-friendly to higher end, so you should have no problem finding one that fits your budget. Of course, the one thing that you'll need to insist upon, no matter which trampoline you ultimately purchase, is that it provides ample safety features. Since we installed it, the trampoline has been an essential element to our backyard, which we designed almost exclusively to satisfy the sensory diets of our 2 autistic children. It continues to give them endless enjoyment, and it has enabled our family to engage in fun and therapeutic activities such as tossing the ball back and forth or spraying with the garden hose. One simple and inexpensive thing we've used to supercharge our trampoline is to attach handles of a multicolored parachute to the metal uprights of the net safety fence. The inverted dome dangles down just enough for the kids to jump up and touch it. We'll elaborate on our games of catch by tossing balls into the bowl and letting the kids pop them out. Likewise, our water game is made even more exciting by spraying water in the air and letting a pool accumulate. The kids will then jump up and try to push the water out, which leads to splashing through a small hole at the center of the parachute fin. The parachute also has the additional benefit of providing much needed shade from the sun on hot summer days. My daughter absolutely loves playing with the garden hose while jumping on the trampoline, and we use the games to practice communication back and forth. For example, she'll let me know when she wants me to spray up in the air, switch to a different spray function such as misting, or spray the jumping mat from below. She also isn't shy about letting me know when she's done with the game.
Stop spraying! Finish down! Don't hold down! I said stop spraying. I said hold down. Hold down!
After years of use, the trampoline has proven to be a backyard essential for our sensory-seeking children. And, considering how ubiquitous they are in sensory rooms, OT gyms, and playgrounds catering to kids on the spectrum, we have little doubt that adding a trampoline to the scope of your project is well worth it. If you found this video valuable, we invite you to check out some of the other videos we've made about designing for neurodiversity.